I've been closely monitoring the detection of smuggling in India, particularly of drugs and particularly of gold. When I was looking at the two bar charts which show gold imports into India and also another which showed gold smuggling in India, I briefly saw a connect which may be an illusion to me. You may correct me subsequently. But I thought there seems to be some kind of a relationship between when smuggling gets detected or big numbers get detected, when therefore there is an indication that there is more smuggling of a particular item, in this case gold, there is also uske aage piche, meaning either before it or after it, there seems to be a very high import of gold. I do not know if there is a tendency or a cyclical impact of high import at some point in time in the year. The bar chart, if I can remember correct, showed that in July 21 and also March 21, I think, had very high imports of gold. And nearer, just before and after, there seems to also be a higher detection of smuggling, because the bar chart is obviously showing detection of the smuggling in gold. I do not know if there's a causal relationship, but I also think it gives me a thought to say if there is a pattern that you can learn from, if you may want to go back to several years of looking at high import, months with high import, and before and after that, if there is a correlation for detection. Does the officer, the DRI officers, see that there's more imports happening and gets more cautious? Or is it that naturally you are able to get actionable intelligence and therefore you're able to detect more of the smuggling? I do not know what works which way, but it raised an interesting question in my mind, and I thought I should put it before you. If such, I've just done it off the cuff. I am sure if you do it in a systematic manner, in which is what you normally do, but if there is a way in which you're able to see a pattern emerging, and I'm going to be a bit mischievous in saying something, if there's a pattern emerging even in the detection of smuggling, it's convenient for me to notice that last month there's been lots of imports, and therefore this month I'm highly alert and I'm able to detect more. Or I'm anticipating that because Akshaya Tritiya is coming, people will consume more gold, more imports are happening, I should be alert. I don't know what works. But if in our country 800 kgs are being detected on an average per year, I'm sure this is an elephant in the room. Can we do a lot more? Data-based, artificial intelligence-based, better mapping of what works to bring in the cycle of gold smuggling into India. I've been arguing sometime with the media that it is not the customs duty on gold which determines the extent of smuggling. Higher the duty, people feel, oh, there's greater leverage to be handled, and therefore there's more smuggling. And lower, the counter-argument to it, lower the duty, less smuggling. No, smuggling seems to have its own cycle. Smuggling seems to have its own pattern. Not only in gold, but also I find drugs, particularly. Vivek Johri was telling me just now, the chairman CBIC was telling me just now, that cocaine has also started coming in a big way in this country. And again, here I want to ask a question. Is it because India is no longer just a transit country for smugglers? And is it because India is now becoming a consuming country? That you have paths for such things to come into the country which have not had a recorded history of that level of smuggling, such as cocaine now. And here again, is it because it's no longer transit, but it is a consuming country? There's a cause and effect relationship. And again there, would it help if we did a bit more of studying it to see what triggers it to this extent. I'm sure you're doing it. I'm not giving you a new idea, but a greater cause and effect relationship would help. When I was telling that you're a small but lean machine which works very, very effectively, and it actually stands out in terms of the performance that you've done considering your size. And I take this one example, which was absolutely a stunning example for many people who hadn't known much about DRI earlier. During the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, DRI could tell me that in several parts of the country, I think it was 14 destinations, where you destroyed in public view more than 44,000 kgs of drug which was seized. Unbelievable. That is not something which India would have known about DRI as your work that we were able to destroy in public view with media, with eminent citizens of that part of the country, all sitting there and watching, and the entire finance ministry team sitting in South Block and North Block and watching it. This was one singular message that we were able to give, that DRI is alert and it shall not allow such illegal contraband goods coming into this country. That was an exceptional show of your performance and its strength. I was really impressed by that, and I heard many of my colleagues talk to me about it, and I would think that is the kind of spirit and momentum the DRI has to maintain even now. I would think that you would make sure that you shall not allow the smuggler to be smarter than you all. Smuggler cannot be smarter than you. He will leave a trail. He will leave some kind of evidence for you to touch, and he will certainly give you an indication of the modus operandi. And that is one of the reasons why you're successful, and you'll continue to be successful. But my eagerness is to see that each one of these cases, at the earliest possible time, comes to a logical conclusion. People read through the newspapers, this much of cocaine has been captured. I was glad that Pankaj Chaudhary ji recalled what was captured in Kandla, what was captured elsewhere, and so on, when he spoke here. But the question which remains in the mind of the ordinary citizen is, take care, but what happened? How many people went to the prison for it? Take care, what happened? But after that, how many people were actually taken to task? And even better, the question is, what happened? Who's actually the big fish behind it? You're catching all those small fries, the peddlers, the traffickers, the mules. Is that sufficient? To gain public confidence, that's not sufficient at all. To just capture or arrest, prosecute, and to have conviction of smaller mules, the carriers of this horrible substance, is important, and it is necessary.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.